So first question I have for you, Erlang has an interesting history, right? It was originally proprietary and then it ultimately went open source. Can you talk a little bit about how that happened?
Erlang went open source in December of 1998, and for a variety of reasons. We, at the time, was working with Ericsson, with the Erlang team, and many of us wanted to get Erlang out to the world. We thought it was a great technology, which a lot of other verticals on top of telecom could have a great use for. And so we were doing a lot of lobbying and trying to get higher management to release it as open source. The official reason for releasing as open source was actually to try to increase the community and facilitate recruitment of Erlang programmers for Ericsson. Because at the time they employed bright engineers and they had to train them.
Okay.
And so this was a way for them to, well, increase kind of the market out there.
Sure.
And increase the recruitment channels.
So what are the most common uses now?
Well, telecoms obviously, but it's making its way into banking, into the embedded space. There's a lot happening in the embedded space right now. Instant messaging. We're looking at, if you try to picture Erlang, I mean, it's good for bursts of activity. It's good for switching. So if you're switching initially IP packets or ATM cells, or if you're switching money, instant messaging, instant messages, stocks, at the end of the day, it's the same logic and it's the same type of code. So that's the different verticals it's coming into. At the end of the day, mainly server side or embedded development.
So what is it not particularly good for?
It's not good for number crunching, for example, so parallel processing of large amounts of data. It's not good at parsing through massive logs, so I/O needs optimizing. It's not good for graphical interfaces. It wasn't built for these areas of application. So as a result, it shouldn't be used for them.
Sure, right. Yeah. Now, does it have reference points in other languages? So if I'm a developer in X, could I pick it up pretty quickly?
So, Erlang was a result of several years of prototyping telecom applications with other languages in an attempt to find a language which could be suitable for the next generation of telecom switches. They quickly came to the realization that there was no one language that solved all the problems of the next generation, but there were a lot of languages which had a lot of desirable features. So what they did is they picked all these features and incorporated them into what is Erlang today. So you'll have a strong functional influence. So if you know functional languages such as ML, Haskell, F#, even for that matter, it's easy to pick up. Another aspect is the concurrency aspect. So if you've worked with actors or you've worked with thread pools, once again, it lowers the barrier to entry.
So how do you see the language changing over the next couple of years? Where do you think it's going to be most useful?
Multi-core. I think that's where the real effort is today. There is Erlang processes don't share memory, and shared memory and memory lock contention is usually one of the biggest problems in scaling your systems with multi-core. And so they're actually, the scalability today is very linear, up to about 32 cores, and they're pushing to make it linear up to 64 cores right now.
Right. Well, great. Thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks.